Alrighty, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, once more to the Overwatch Open. We are here in our EU semifinals. Creation Esports versus Rogue. Creation Esports striking first blood after a very close series on Ilios. Now we're going to be moving to sunny Hollywood and see if Rogue can turn things more in their favor, Joshy.
Hollywood, my actual neighborhood, basically. I'm very close to Hollywood out in California, but obviously here in London, where it's cloudy all the time, I'm having a little bit of weirdness with the sunlight being different. We actually went to bed as the sun was coming up because obviously the time shift is a little bit crazy.
We did. We go pretty late here for UK time. It's just like, okay, we're going to bed. Is that the sun? It's like, oh, that is the sun. Whatever. We still slept most of the day. It still worked out.
Yeah, and then we hit up Tesco's and saw some exotic foods. But either way, we're having a great time here in London, and obviously that's largely in part due to these amazing Overwatch games. Creation leads the series 1-0 now over Rogue. Rogue, with their tournament life on the line, if they lose this game, they're only leaving with points. Of course, they want to make that grand finals and fight against Reunited for the chance at the opt-in, or not the opt-in, the play-in, basically, to the playoffs, which will be later in August.
Well, the other thing here, too, for Rogue is that they would like to turn things more in their favor because, as I mentioned, both these teams are very close, and yet you look at their history over the last few months, Creation has edged them out more often than not dominating them, but just winning in the end. So for Rogue, it'd be kind of nice to get that monkey off their back more often than not and actually take out Creation here just because.
Yeah, Rogue did win the takeover LAN, right? That was kind of the first majorly broadcast, I'll say, EU LAN that had a lot of participating teams. And so Rogue do actually have a tournament victory under their belts that they would like to improve upon. This prize pool is significantly larger, so a really big deal. There are teams even taking it so seriously that they're starting to move in together, boot camp, and really just buckle down and train as hard as they can for this $300,000 prize pool.
And why wouldn't you when you see what it's done for Envious on the North American side, one of the first teams in a team house? It definitely pays dividends. But we're going to be moving in here to Hollywood, looking at this defense coming out from Rogue, which will be in the blue. It is going to be AKM on the McCree. Wynn's going to be on the Winston. Nox on Lucio. Reinforce on Reinhardt. Tavik on the defensive Reaper. And Unko rounding it out on the Zenyatta.
I like the defensive Reaper. That's one of my favorites for playing ranks, just because you know they're going to be on the point. You know you're going to get that close quarters combat. As we move forward here, seeing not the most aggressive push ever. They are going to move around to the side there, around where that full health is. But look at that, AKM easily gets the snipe on the Zenyatta, and that's going to slow them way down.
AKM, again, starting off another game with a bang. 2 quick kills coming out here from the side of Rogue. And for Creation, they just need back out. Once you lose 2 people without doing significant poke or getting a pick yourself in turn, it's just you're not going to be able to take the fight unless you have ult up. But it's the beginning of the game, so you don't have ult up.
Yeah, and that's kind of actually that sort of happened because Reinhardt is basically just falling out of the meta so hard. Normally you get that Reinhardt shield to kind of ferry your team across to the other side, and this time Zenyatta just wide open exposed. AKM takes a couple of shots and it's over from there. And now he's focusing on those healers again. Dracius under the gun, just taking some free shots in there. Obviously don't want to feed the Zarya, but anything else that you can hit is going to work out. Fan right into Numlock, takes him out as well.
Tavik got caught deep diving there, and as a result, R-Tier is feasting the backline. That is a triple kill for R-Tier, darting around after Tavik died. Not a whole lot around to punish him, and R-Tier again making the Tracer work where you don't even see Tracer all that often. A first point attack here on Hollywood, it's something a little bit more exotic. Tracer Genji, we haven't seen them both together all that often since many a meta ago, so pretty good attack here coming out for Creation. Was still pretty decent for Rogue to at least hold on for one push, given the history of point A Hollywood defense in recent memory.
That's a good point with that Tracer. No McCree at all, but it worked out. Obviously, the speed and mobility work out for Tracer. Just getting that 1 kill opened the door for him to get a lot of damage done. So as we start to push the payload, it only took about a minute and a half to take A. You were talking about before the game that this point A defense can really determine how the rest of the game goes momentum-wise. They did have time to set up on defense, so Tavik still up there with the golden shurikens, shooting what he can.
Yeah, the only problem here is that they weren't all able to get to the rooftop, so they are on ground floor. Linkster gets the back, takes out AKM from behind. First kill here going to Creation. They're looking for Wynn's able to counter the Genji, but still more momentum in favor of Creation. Numlock getting to back, gets onto Zen, gonna activate the Primal Rage here in just a moment. Just laying in the Tesla fire, takes him out. R-Tier with the support, and slowly but surely Creation is pushing this in their favor. And part of that is I think Rogue just did not have time to set up on the rooftops. They were pretty much all on the ground with the exception of Tavik.
everything looking good for Creation. That was just a kind of a small defense posted up by Rogue. Didn't really last very long. Got a couple of key kills and went from there. But lots of ultimates available here. We're going to wait. Obviously, Rogue is going to regroup. They're not going to jump out immediately and start to get picked off. They're going to wait for the payload to get as far away from the enemy spawn as possible. Graviton Surge comes out. Sound Barrier is out. Genji Sword is out. Link's trying to get as much damage as he can in this chaos. Doesn't really find anything. Pulse Bomb, actually, though, from R-Tier catches 2. AKM and Nox both biting the dust, and Link's still going here, trying to do what he can on offense, gets the kill on Unko, and everything's looking good for Creation.
That was a beautiful Graviton coming out from the side there, where really they were able to carry it through. Bromos moving forward, even fall up of his own after his Graviton. And as a result, Creation keeping this moving forward. They do get poked down a little bit. AKM still trying to do his best to take out anyone. Not going to happen. So this is going to be a quick second point capture here from the side of Creation. A lot of it has to do with Bromos's Graviton that set things up so well. And look at this, by the way, Josh. He has another Graviton coming up.
That's crazy, yeah. Bromos actually 2v2'd there for a second with Zenyatta. I think Zarya and Zen are a very formidable 2v2. If you've got just a couple of defenders that you need to take out, it definitely makes sense. They came out on top, and another Graviton Surge available. You can see all three of them just rushing all the way to the defense, trying to get another pick. Wins actually falls, so they do have a lot of breathing room here, and at least 2 ultimates to their name, potentially another by the time they get up here. Toxican's getting pretty close, but Rogue has Deadeye and potentially a Winston ult. That's about it. All
right, well, let's take a look at Bromos. Here he is going to be looking for the Graviton. Definitely doesn't want it to get deflected. Lynx are able to take out AKM early on. The Graviton comes in, sets them up for 2 more kills. 4 kills here for Creation here thus far. Tavik under assault by R-Tier will get melted down by Bromos in the back. Everything going in favor of Creation here, and they are on the verge of setting a very quick time here on Hollywood. This is all sorts of bad for Rogue because, again, if Rogue loses this map, that is it. They are out of the tournament.
These clashes keep going Creation's way. It's not like a brutal, bloody explosion just killing everybody. They are hard fought, but it seems like Creation is just doing a good job with survivability, staying alive against AKM and Tavik so well. And look at this, just fanning repeatedly into the discorded Rage Winston. Still so much health, though. It takes forever to get him down. Rogue finally coming out now with the Transcendence. We got Tavik's Dragon Blade out, getting a lot of kills. Linkser and Bromos both down, followed by Dracius on the Lucio. So that is the first full stop that they've had the entire game.
Rogue desperately needed that. If they were capped on there, that would have been a sub 5-minute time on Hollywood, which is not easy to be in the least. Creation moving forward, not a whole lot of ults in their favor, although they will have a sound barrier up in a moment, and the sound barrier could be enough with R-Tier, so we'll see how this works out. AKM right now looking for some skulls on the Deadeye. Not able to get what he's looking for immediately, but they do find R-Tier in the back. 2 kills here for Rogue, and this is going to buy them some absolutely crucial time for getting their ults back up. Nox will have sound barrier from the next fight. A big window for Creation just closed.
That great kill on Lucio actually stalls Creation's potential a lot. He had sound barrier available, so it's going to take some time for him to return to the fight and get an opportunity to use it. Another great, 30 seconds bought basically just by a couple of shots from that AKM McCree. Bromos moving forward, almost has Graviton Surge available, likely going to be able to pop at this fight. You can see the sound barrier on the side of the offense and defense both coming out. Everyone's got a ton of health. Who's going to start falling? It looks like the attackers actually are going to lose R-Tier and Numlocked first thing first, and Tavik goes down, but that's okay. Defense is going to hang on for now.
Well, the key reason why Creation was not able to win that fight is that AKM, frankly, outshot R-Tier. He got the very first pickoff. Not only is AKM still alive for Rogue, but R-Tier was down for Creation, and that just let Rogue move forward leisurely and take the rest of that fight. So anytime you win the McCree versus McCree battle like that, it is a huge deal. But here we go. Fight being engaged once more. Earthshatter coming in from Reinforce. Graviton in the back, though, from Creation. 2 people linked in. Here comes Linkser on the Dragon Blade. 2 kills here for the defense. Linkser trying to turn back the other way. It is very back and forth currently. Linkser in hot pursuit of this Lucio. Has to put the sword away at the last second. Does not get the final slash. Lucio lives to fight another day. Reinforce cleans up Bromos. And it's been messy for Rogue, but they are very likely to hold this right now, Josh.
Rogue again hanging on. Another minute bleeds off the clock. And it's actually so funny that you called it out like that. He has to put the sword away. Imagine you're like this robotic cyber ninja, and you've got your sword, you're going crazy, and you're just compelled to put it back into the sheath.
It was so close. Fortunate stuff right there for Linkser, because if they got the Lucio, it definitely could have gone the other way. But here comes Creation. They know that they only have about 2 pushes left. Numlocked holding on to that Earthshatter, looking for his opportunity. They're trying to crack the enemy Reinhardt shield. They crack it. Here comes the Earthshatter. 2 people down. Unko going to go for a ride. First pick off of the fight here to Creation. Looking for a more defensive sound barrier, though, on the way. It doesn't matter. 3 extra kills here for the side of Rogue. They are putting Rogue on the ropes. Rogue does not have a whole lot of hope here to turn this back. No ults are up. No one is alive. And it's going to be Creation capping this out. But
Wins
hang
can
on,
get
hang
in
on.
there.
Here we go.
He'll
Wins
at least
trying
stall
to
it.
delay. This is the Hail Mary pass.
Yeah, he
They're
jumps right onto the payload. Of course, 6v1 is impossible for anyone with this skill. This level of skill, it's pretty much impossible. Tracer can last maybe a couple seconds. If a May happens to be there, a couple seconds, but nothing crazy like that.
So that's about a time of 7:27, 7:28 or so. Not too bad coming up, but it's definitely a beatable time. For Rogue, they really needed to hold firm like they did at the end, because in the beginning, it was looking terrible. It could have been a sub 5-minute time, but Rogue, they dug deep. They finally solidified their position, stopped chaining deaths, and at least they were able to come in and make it a beatable time.
Yeah, that first payload phase through the streets of the Wild West set, Rogue couldn't get anything together. Everything was looking bad. It was just no one could capitalize on their ults. They couldn't really get together well enough to do any kind of death ball tactics. But that defense at the end, the very last choke, ended up being their salvation as they burned, I think, 3 or 4 minutes. Actually, about 3 minutes total. So it's a good thing that they happened to win that first fight at the choke. Otherwise, that would be a 5-minute time, as you said, much, much harder. But now they have the potential, AKM and Tavik, of course, two of the best attackers, in my mind, in EU.
Yeah, now the interesting part here, again, just because it's an ongoing storyline where teams have just been not good at defending Point A Hollywood. We'll see what Creation has in their bag of tricks. It is going to be Linkser here on the defensive Reaper, Tox again on defensive Zenyatta, Dracaeus on the Lucio, Artier on McCree, Numlocked, of course, on Reinhardt, the 3G Express himself, and Bromos going to be on Junkrat. So Junkrat making his grand reappearance. There's one point where every team ran Junkrat here, but now it's more of a preference flex.
Yeah, with the Junkrat being able to just spam bombs into those tight chokes, it makes sense to select him. Of course, Concussive Mine can throw off a coordinated push as well if you happen to land it right in the middle of a bunch of players. On the attacking side, we've got the mobile tank with Winston reinforced, and Wins with that Zarya, all-important Graviton surges can definitely make or break this Point A attack. And as the doors open, I will be interested to see if they're just going to rush the point straight up through that SUV choke, or if they try to move around the left side as Creation did.
We'll see what they do. Teams have been favoring more haste here in Hollywood, less patient poke-off here. For Rogue, they do have a little bit of time to the point where they don't have to go absolutely crazy, but it's in their interest to cap this as quick as possible, and they're going to do just that. Zarya's shield onto Reinforce to give him a little bit of space on Winston. 2 kills coming out here from the defense right away, though. Not completely bloodless. Tavik actually keeping his team in it, gets 2 kills in the back, is still alive, still at decent HP, takes out Numlocked, and Tavik, is he being the hero Genji right now, takes out Bromos at about all 5 HP. And even though the defense hasn't fully lost it yet, the offense is going to reinforce much quicker here, Josh.
There's that drawback of Junkrat, shooting at a 5 HP Genji and just saying, please hit, I can't hit him. He's too fast. You have to get the nice ricochet, but it is actually only about 45 seconds elapsed so far, and it looks like they should be able, as the Zenyatta and McCree both get taken out by AKM. He Wraith walks away with 20 health. Nox not too happy about what happened there with that Junkrat trap, but there goes AKM finally falling. They are going to secure this point, though.
He might not be happy about the Junkrat trap killing him, but he should be happy about the performance of Rogue here. That was a very quick cap on Point A. I'd say it's actually pretty similar to the way we saw from Creation. Maybe one was a little bit quicker than the other, but general, same overall time. So the difference here in this map is going to have to come from the streets phase. If Creation can hold them out longer, it'll be a really big deal. If Rogue is able to get through here on maybe 1 to 2 pushes, they would be in great position to actually win this map with over 6 minutes remaining right now. So a lot to be decided here as teams get onto the rooftops and fight for positioning.
Yeah, and I'll just point out the defensive tank is going to be Reinhardt during this phase. He has Earthshatter available. Wins nearly has Graviton Surge for the side of the offense, so it is going to be a story of these tanks, and the payload contesting normally starts here as they approach the bridge, but Numlocked already down there holding that shield up, stopping them in their tracks. That's just bleeding time. 5 minutes, 36 seconds is time to beat now, and every second is super valuable. Here comes that Deadeye. He is going to pull the trigger, but not actually get any kills. Tavik was behind him, so he managed to survive as well. Finally does fall there to a couple of shots from Artier. Graviton Surge comes out, catches several. Numlock still has that Reinhardt shield available, but Wins gets 2 kills, 3 kills, 4 kills.
Goodness.
Wins going off with, of course, help from his team. That's 5 kills to his name.
That was a 5K from Wins. I was going into that saying, gee, maybe you should just wait for Tavik here, but Wins says, I don't need a Tavik. I am my own fall through. Got in there, took out 5, put the team on his back, and now with 5 minutes remaining, Rogue is in a great opportunity here to put Creation away on this map and force a map number 3. We'll see if that happens, though. Here comes Creation. They are on the way back out. They don't want to give up this point for free. Tavik in the backfield. Dragon Blade at the ready. Going to deflect is not enough. Is taken out by Artier. Great McCree play coming out there. 5v5 for both teams on the point. Creation, they're pulling this back right now, Josh.
Yeah, I'm going to say overall, Rogue is actually sort of starting to meet that time, but now as everyone starts to fall to R-Tier and Bromos, it is starting to look a little bit worse for them. Everything could, of course, come down to that final stretch, but the fact that they did not get the checkpoint there, I think that was one of their best opportunities. Now with the full reset, they're going to have to engage again. They've got no ults to their name. This could be actually a lot of time, a very costly fight that they just lost.
Yeah, and you take a look at the next fight as it's about to heat up here. Rogue used Sound Bear in the last fight. They're not going to have it. They're very drained on ultimates. Wins will have a Graviton up maybe after this next fight. Linkser is holding on to the defensive Dragon Blade. Good poke, though, coming out from Rogue. They almost got someone off it outright. Certainly AKM and Tavik's doing together. But you take a look at this, Creation is well positioned. They're where they want to be. And here comes Linkser moving to the back. Dragon Blade out the ready. Transcendent's going to stymie him. He does not like what he sees. Backs out. Toxican dies early. 65 here for Rogue. This is looking very good. Wins with the double kill fall through. Has a Graviton up. Might not even need to use it. That's how much damage he did to set up Rogue for this fight.
Wins still has Graviton Surge available. They don't even need to use it here, though, to secure the point. That was mostly on the back of AKM and the damage dealers once again. Wins 3.5 minutes. This is about as long as they defended for. So it really could come down to the last few seconds as they continue to push forward here. It takes like 10 seconds just for the doors to open and the payload to start moving again. But Unko and Wins just moving forward, able to secure a couple of kills. That's going to give them a lot of breathing room to reach this corner.
The real test for Creation is going to be this next fight. They are clearly at an ultimate disadvantage moving in. Dracus is not going to have Sound Bearer up in time. Rogue's best window to win this game is now. Because if they fail this fight, not only are they going to be down their ults that they'll use to win the fight, but they're also going to be at an ult disadvantage for the next 2 fights. So everything here, Wins, goes with Graviton, does pull in 4 people. Here comes the Deadeye from the back. Only takes out Toxic, but sets it up. 2 kills here for Rogue, 3 kills. They're moving in. They are seizing their window of opportunity here, and they are going to push this to end. And barring a miracle for Creation, this series is going to be tied up 1-1.
Rogue is rolling right through them now, but the jumping, Reinhardt defending the shots from the Deadeye, that was a beautiful play from Numlock, even though he fell right after, and it's likely Creation might not hold on here, but we do have some ults coming out still. They're not dead yet. Toxic with that Transcendence. Now you see the offensive Transcendence going up as well. Sound Barrier comes out for the side of the defense. Creation holding on a little bit, but the deaths are mostly going the way in Rogue's favor as Creation start to get whittled down. Now they are in that trickle in defense, and that is going to be a faster time by 2 solid minutes.
Yeah, and I sort of expected that going in just because like once they got to that point with 3 minutes remaining, because it's really rare for a team to do what Rogue did and hold that long at last. It does happen, but it's just not super likely. And Rogue, they had that golden window of opportunity where, again, as I mentioned, if they had lost that fight, they would have been at such an ult disadvantage for the next 2 fights that it would have been much more winnable for Creation. But Rogue, they did not choke. They went forward. They seized the moment. And now we're going to be going to another King of the Hill map for map number 3.
I think this was a tale of Graviton surges, basically. Yes. Rogue hit the money ults on Zarya every single time, and the great follow-up there from the rest of the team just basically wiped Creation out. And once you have that trickle-in defense started, it's very, very difficult. Even if you have a single diva, like we talked about, like a diva or a Mei can stall for a few seconds, but it's really difficult to survive when you've got everyone pointing their guns at you.
And by the way, usually when you talk about Rogue, you give a lot of credit to Tavik or sometimes AKM. I want to give a shout out to Wins there for some very good Zarya play. He was building his ult very quickly. In the fight before the final fight, he was able to take out 2 people mostly on his own, building up, using his charge to his advantage. So Wins showing that Zarya, when properly played, can also be a huge DPS threat. And when you do that, you also get more Graviton. So win-win for Wins.
Yeah, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention that AKM Wins have actually been playing games together for so long. And Shoot Mania is actually a game that they won. They won IPL 5, a $100,000 tournament a couple of years ago that I had the pleasure of casting. So I've known these guys for a couple of years. Even though Shoot Mania is kind of a weird title and has its place in esports history, I feel like it really helped me a lot just to meet all these guys a few years ago. Crew, Tailspin, Buds, all other players that had a lot of success in Shoot Mania.
Well, the great thing about Overwatch as a game is that Overwatch is effectively the grand melting pot of non-Counter-Strike FPS games. Effectively, if you played an FPS game that was not CS, you've probably made your way into Overwatch, and it doesn't even stop there. You look at some of the top teams, you do have people coming in from other big MOBA titles, from other games like World of Warcraft. Certainly C9 is a big example of that with Kai and Debit. So if Overwatch is just a lot of people, the game appeals to people from many different genres, and it makes for some cool games where actually some of our strongest teams have been those melting pot teams where it's not all your FPS veterans.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because at the beginning of Overwatch closed beta, it was like the TF2 squads. The TF2 squads, not Enigma, was a big one. Hubris was the non-TF2 squad, where it was like we played 10 different games, but we played them a lot together, and we won everything that we played. So TF2, actually, everyone thought that it was the closest analog to this game, but actually, you get skill sets from everywhere, as you said. And I also would be remiss if I didn't mention StarCraft 2 being one of the production areas for Chance on NG Red. He's always my favorite because he used to beat Korean players in StarCraft 2, and now he's one of the top North American Overwatch players. It's kind of a ridiculous skill set.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate. For those who don't know, by the way, NG Red was not participating this weekend. They still are looking for the 6th player. A little bit of drama there as Bird is off their roster, but definitely hoping to see more of them next weekend, see if they can fill that hole, because they were a team right up there with your C9s, with your LGs, with your TSMs, so, and of course Team Liquids as well. So we'll see how that goes. But right now we are just setting up here for our 3rd map, waiting for players again in the lobby, and once that's ready to go, we will see the conclusion of the series.